why movies suck now. It's because of the destruction of the idea of hero virtue. Why are they doing this? Because they want the people that are young, that are growing up with the new movies that are aimed at them, to not have any idea of how to have a good character. That's why all the heroes in movies now are really stupid, and they're selfish, and they're juvenile, and they're childish, and the idea of a Mary Sue, whether it's, well, it's always a female character, but they're dumbing us down through movies. Whatever they did in the past to program us, this is the next generation of programming. They want to keep degrading people, so that all the stuff you grew up with, that you'll, like when you grow up, you'll be like, I remember the movies we had when we were kids. They were hoping that you would watch Kylo Ren say, destroy the past, kill it if you must. That's every movie. They're destroying the past. That's why they're killing all the old heroes. Oh, those guys were no good. Give it to somebody else and make it like Helena Shaw. It's Indiana Jones's goddaughter, no relation. It's just a title. And she's gonna shit on him, but also she's a horrible person. She's kind of a tramp. She's basically her character from Fleabag, if you remember. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, remember that? She played Fleabag, and that's how she became famous. And then didn't she play Leet in the Han Solo movie? And she was a robot social justice warrior, and then they blow her up and everything. Yeah, they don't want new heroes. That's why they keep giving you heroes and things that self-destruct. Star Wars Acolyte has a bunch of witches, and those witches self-destruct. And the new heroes are stupid, because if anybody tries to be a hero, the only example they're giving young people in their movies is, you want to be a hero? Be selfish and stupid, and you guys will turn on each other. There's some new Paul Thomas Anderson movie, and it probably has cut and paste the same. It's like art house movie, probably, they'll say. But really what it is here, turn on each other and fail. And that's all they're gonna give you guys in these movies, whether it's Star Wars. Like, why is Ironheart so awful? She's a hood rat that steals Tony Stark tech and makes a deal with the devil. Yeah, you know, for kids. Maybe people don't like it, but the only new media they want to give you, first, kill all your old characters so that they don't. Han Solo's a deadbeat dad. Carrie Fisher's tired and old. She has to do everything by herself. Luke Skywalker left the rebellion. Han Solo left the rebellion. And Luke Skywalker gave up. Han Solo gave up. Carrie Fisher's tired and old. And Rey just knows how to do everything right from the start, which is not teaching young people that, no, you have to work hard for stuff to work out for you. But Captain Marvel and Rey from Star Wars are handed over heroes. You just hand it over. Give me all the things. Same thing with whoever Ironheart, I don't know her name. Whoever Ironheart is in the Ironheart show, it's just give me everything. I am everything already. So Ironheart makes a deal with the devil, steals the tech. Rey's just full-blown from the head of Zeus. She has everything already. Captain Marvel, same. Just make me a blue blood. Just make me a space intergalactic blue blood and give me the powers and get out of the way and destroy the patriarchy. And that's what we have. We have a divine patriarchy. Okay? It's Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It's three dudes. Just saying. So, that's why the movies have no heroes, and that's why they keep, you know, men stand down. We're exalting women. We have a divine patriarchy, so the devils say, like, put the women up here, put a woman on the pedestal. And feminism from its inception was created by a bunch of men and then handed to rich bitches who were anti-natalists, who were rich bitches. Did I say that? And they just, it's about destroying qualities of femininity. And who goes along with that easiest? Sadly, women who are unattractive that nobody wants. Go look at the early feminists. They're ugly. There's way hotter feminists now with nose rings and shit. And I think nose rings are ugly. It's sad, but, you know, it is like kind of like, who are the people that were laughing about Charlie's assassination? And I didn't really know who Charlie Kirk was. I knew he was the guy that spoke at colleges, But the effect that his assassination had on people was that they were disgusted by people laughing at it. Some people laughed at it, but I think they're in the minority, and it's like, yeah, that's the psychopathy of the left. There's brain scans. These people are mental, and that's making terrorists. People who want to tear down their own country. Remember Ocasio-Cortez said, we should just tear everything down and we'll rebuild, we'll live in like cinder block houses, we'll start over. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a terrible idea. That is one of the things that she came out with when she came on the scene. Or like, why are they putting this dumb bitch anywhere? Why is she anything? Why are they putting her out there? So the damage control for the left, yeah, I mean, I think some of this stuff is unexpected. So no matter what happens, whether it's good or bad, the wealthy elite whose fortunes shape the fates of nations go to their social engineers and say, how can we reshape? Well, they don't have to go to their social engineers. The social engineers are always finding out how to take everything that happens. Oh, this isn't going the way that they wanted it to for Agenda 2030 or all these different agendas they have. Plandopolis not working out for Plandopolis megacities and smart cities. So they just keep finessing. I've used that word before in this video. They just keep molding and shaping and manipulating things to their evil ends. Oh, what people are getting along, how can we ruin that? So one of the ways that they want to keep us divided and conquered is with the algorithms. Keep everybody fighting with each other and scared. Give them dopamine and then give them cortisol. And make them afraid to have kids, to bring more people here, and just keep destroying food manufacturing, processing plants, and just keep telling them, look, you're gonna eat bugs, you'll have nothing and you'll love it. And that's Larry Fink saying forced behaviors. I have a forced behaviors clip that's going up at some point, but you can find it already. You don't need it from me. I got it from somebody else's video. So the Larry Fink, what we have to do is force behaviors. They're forcing behaviors. Oh, you don't like the movies? It doesn't matter. We're Disney and we're a monopoly on entertainment. And entertainment means to teneer, to hold, to amuse or divert or distract. And we want you to fight about your movies, and that's why Kylo Ren, because is not The Last Jedi so transparent? Rian Johnson said, what do you want me to do, Kathy? And he just did everything that she told him to do, and in a really stupid way, like, yeah, fuck this bitch. Okay, you want that? Okay, you got it. Okay, I'm just gonna have Kylo Ren say, destroy the past, kill it if you must, because we're destroying. You like Star Wars? You like your Joseph Campbell, George Lucas read Joseph Campbell bullshit? Okay, I'll wreck it. And Rey does everything, and she's an autonomous unit, and she's the Horatio Alger heroine. She doesn't have a family. Her family doesn't matter. They're superfluous. And then J.J. Abrams comes back for a paycheck or whatever he came back for, and he's like, okay, we'll make her blue blood. Actually raise a Palpatine. And it sucks. Is it dead now? Did we kill it? You like Finn? You thought it was going to be about Finn? No. Because we're not going to give you any cool black dudes either. We're going to make Black Panther about his women. And the Black Panther was a movement. Stan Lee, or whoever came up with the idea for the Black Panthers, that was just to bring this political shit into the comic books. Militant, communist, black dudes. That's Black Panthers, right? Communist, socialist, Marxist. It's all the same thing. The Xavier Mansion has a bust of Karl Marx in it. Everybody pointed that out in the Deadpool movie. And what's Deadpool? He's a pansexual plaything. Oh, Deadpool's screw everything. He's hitting on Wolverine. He hits on Colossus, and he's gay. Part gay. And he's like a Swiss Army man. He's like cursing bloody Spider-Man. Right? That's Deadpool. Oh, he wants Spider-Man with violence, with blood and gore. That's Deadpool. And he's a communist. And so are the X-Men. They're not men anymore. They're transhumanists. They've crossed over from being men into something else. The X-Men are possessed of demons. They have one specific power or ability. And that's what they want for a future. They want people to be possessed. They want people to be divided and conquered. They want people to want the universal basic income living stipend by traumatizing and terrorizing people for as many generations, or not generation, for as many 10-year cycle as needed. You know, because as people come up over 10 years, whoever's young, you're growing up, we're traumatizing you until you get to the point where people are broken enough. They'd like to, I don't know if it will work, to get to the point where people just want, we just want the living stipend. Make them taste good. We'll eat, the bugs taste like Taco Bell, we'll eat them. Unless you have a shellfish allergy and you're screwed. But they'll make medication for that. They just want to, it's just evil. It's just the most disgusting thing. I'm going to end this video now. It's just the most disgusting thing. The richest people in the world aren't edifying mankind and lifting us up. They're degrading us, because it's, what do you do with all the money and power in the world? Do you lift up mankind and lead us into a new golden age or something? No, they want to destroy us and make a perfectly managed system. So they're disgusting, filthy bastards, subhuman bastards really, and they want to break us down and turn us into whatever they want, which I guess is what they talk about, the bug people all the time. They already made people into bug people. It's the selfishness. It's part of the divide and conquer strategy. They want manipulable bio units. They want, it's disgusting. They don't love anything. They hate everybody. The wealthy elite whose fortune shaped the fates of nation are disgusting, hideous, degraded creatures themselves. So they want to degrade everybody even worse than them. They're already degraded. The wealthy elite, they're degraded. So they want to, they're like, well, we got to put them beneath us. So don't build mankind up. You know, like, there's enough for everybody. We could feed everybody on the planet and spread out. That's not the strategy. That's where our leaders are leading us. Push everybody together and then say there's not enough resources, and then you'll get whatever we give you. In the future, you'll have nothing and you'll love it. And I want everybody accounted for. Even in Brave New World, John the Savage, who is like kind of the main character, who hangs himself at the end, who is give up on love. 1984, Brave New World, they're both about give up on the idea of love. It's illegal. THX, George Lucas's THX 1138, it's about the idea of just give up on love. You're not allowed to be in love in the future, except that Bobby Duvall escapes that and he goes up to the top. But they did kill his girlfriend and harvest his baby or whatever. That's sad. But anyway, George Lucas knew that at the end of the 60s into the 70s, when he made American Zoetrope, made THX 1138, and look at all the directors that came out of that. All those really good 80s directors. And George Lucas was the guy Altamont with the camera making his Devil's Deal, filming the Rolling Stones singing Sympathy for the Devil while the Hells Angels bikers killed a guy. And then who's behind the camera? Who's the cameraman for that footage? When it was actually footage? George Lucas. And then he made, you know, look at what happened to George Lucas. And he talks about all his Kabbalah. That's all Star Wars, is all Kabbalah stuff. Chewbacca's a Bigfoot. Bigfoots are Nephilim. This is all... And in THX 1138, what's the future like? You eat the people's slop, you take pills, no sex, and then a machine masturbates you and you watch porn. What do people in George Lucas's THX 1138 watch? They only watch black people on TV. The black people are holograms, and they watch, it's a black woman dancing. If you want to see a naked woman dancing, it's a black man dancing. If you want to see a man dancing, and it's a black guy comedy show, Step and Fetch It, Amos and Andy type bullshit. And you eat people's slop, and are masturbated by a machine, and you watch sex holograms. And that's the future they tell us they want us to have. They want to have sex bots. They want you to have, instead of have people having each other, they want you to have a doll or just a plastic sleeve you masturbate yourself with. And that's divide and conquer, simply put. And so anyway, I think they just want us, wild AI slop. Well, you have to prove you're a real person, because we have these fake videos trying to sell you stuff. You want to be real? Well, you know for years that you can't say that you have a cure for a thing, because pharmaceutical companies, FDA, all this stuff, you can't call thing a cure. You can't call anything a cure. Calling stuff a cure gets videos struck down. Oh, but we got to protect people. You can't say that's a cure. No, they're poisoning us. Why do they that's why there's all these, when you read a label, like you can make bread at home. It's really easy. It's flour, it's water, it's yeast, and then you can add some oil of some kind of butter. And if you want, some bread has eggs in it. You don't even have to have eggs to make bread. Flour, water, salt, yeast. This makes bread. Go look at a bag of bread in the store and you tell me how many ingredients are on it that you don't even know what the hell they are. You don't need that to make bread. The food's poison. The movies and TV are poison. Now transparently so. Everything's become transparently poison. It's a play for everything. They told everybody to stay home under lockdowns. That was a huge stride in traumatizing us. How did they make that work? The phone, because the phone's a computer. It's a programming tool. Why did Elon Musk buy Twitter? It's to help control us. He wants to gather data for AI to see how far they can go with it, because he's a fake tech guy. SpaceX, all this stuff. They're bullshit. They have whatever. So that's what they want. They want the perfectly managed system. And I'm sure I could have thrown in a bunch of other science fiction novels and stuff like that. Or, hey, they want us to live in Hunger Games district. They'll have the tech. We won't have it. They want to make us stupid. The people in the Hunger Games movies are stupid. And they offer their children up as sacrifices. We live in that world now. We're offering our children up as sacrifices. You could say that's public school. You're offering your children to the system. Your children are offered to the system as soon as they're born, and they're given a social security number or whatever. Do you know that people all over the world have basically social security numbers? That's already THX 11 and 38. You're born into the world, and your parents unwittingly hand you over to the system, and you become sort of ward of the state. The welfare system, removing the father and saying you don't need that. People arguing with each other. I've heard these arguments years ago, where the guy got an advancement in his job, and then she's like, yeah, but that's gonna mess up our welfare. So they had to do the math of, is it worth it for him to have the promotion or stay on the dole? Because they're gonna lose some of your benefits. Oh, you're moving up in the world? Well, we're taking some of your benefits away, and it's just enough to knock you back. That's on purpose. That's how shitty these guys are. And people's, when their lives suck, they don't really have time to think about it, or you know what I mean? The whole point is to always have your time distracted, so you can't think about it, and you just want some kind of a little something. You know, it's like, well, I don't have money and I'm poor, but I want to play the new game. I want to buy a stupid thing. It's men and women both. Yeah, that's even in THX 1138. That came out, that was released in 1971. Robert Duvall goes to the store, he buys some stupid, 3D printed thing, and he takes it home and throws it away. He works, he buys some stupid shit, he takes it home, immediately throws it away. He eats pills, he lives with a woman, but they're not allowed to have sex. And they don't, because they're doped up all the time. So they take their pills, and then she's in one room and he's in another room masturbating, and everybody wears the same clothes, and everybody's head is shaved. and they confess to the computer. That's BetterHelp.com. George Lucas, they knew all this shit in 1971. George Lucas saw where they were heading us, whether it was wittingly or unwittingly. He confesses to an AI Jesus. It doesn't, well, anyway, go watch THX 1138. You don't need to. It's very simple and basic. But in 1971, the idea that you're going to eat whatever they gave you, which is recycled people, which is the Soylent. You're going to take pills, no sex. You can still masturbate, but you can't have sex. They don't want you to have sex with a person. That's Japan. It's the nation of lonely, horny people, and they're dying out instead of pairing up. That's so stupid. That's exactly what's happened. They're not making any more Japanese people, but they're lonely, they're horny, and it's a whole country full of people, and nobody's pairing up. Isn't that stupid? Look at what they've done in America. They told you that men are no good and that women are no good, and then we tell each other why, and people aren't meeting up with each other, and everybody has an impossible standard that nobody can live up to, so they're staying home. And people actually really are stupidly falling in love with ChatGPT and Grok AI, and he said that she would eat buttholes. Do you believe it? It's love. And it's all programmed by dudes in Israel, because all the AI models come from Israel. How about that? Which is also where Pornhub headquarters is. Which is also where I think a lot of the vape flavors were developed, like the flavors for vapes. A lot of the boxes would say product of Israel. And whatever else they do over there. So, yeah. So anyway, the AI slop, the bots watching it, the immigration stuff. There's also a part of, we want to know who you are, and this is how they get to know who we are. By getting us so pissed off and fed up. This is the dialectic part of it. Hegel dialectic, Hegelian, whatever. Dialectics, where they create a problem, and then people complain about it, and they're like, well, here's the way we can fix it for you. It's probably the only way. And they're like, well, just do it already. We don't want to stop traumatized. We want the trauma to end. And then that's just what they wanted to do to us, and then our civil liberties are taken away, and we're molded and shaped into being less human. And that's transhumanism, a term coined by Julian Huxley. I always say it like that. Julian Huxley is Aldous Huxley's brother, and it means crossing over from being human into something else. So making people disturbed and all this trans stuff, you can be whatever you want. It worked on some people. They're confused about their identity. They want to cross us over into being something else. How do they do that? You have to degrade man. We could be lifted up, or we can be broken down, and they're breaking us down, and they don't want us to ever get up again and kill each other. And whoever's left, survival of the fittest, then the demons will take those people and have human bodies. We want to do social Darwinism stuff. And whoever's the fittest, these broken, traumatized people who can survive all the shit that's being done, then the demons are going to hop inside their bodies. And there's your X-Men. The X-Men are persecuted and all the stuff. You know about the story of the X-Men in the movies? It's all about being gay and trans. Sure, when Bryan Singer directed it, but that's not necessarily in the comic books. Marvel Comics is evil. I forget what Marvel means, but Marvel isn't Marvel Jack Parsons' name or something, or Oppenheimer? Isn't Jack Parsons' actual birth name Marvel something? So they named Marvel Comics after him. In Iron Man, Tony Stark looks like Jack Parsons. Did you ever notice that? There's videos on this. I've seen them. So that's what I think it's about. I think all the AI glut. I mean, I know I keep saying it, I don't want to say it. I say like things too many times, but I feel like this is, you know, a lot of people need to hear it again, because this is like one of the things of autism. Did you ever teach a child that has autistic, that has trouble comprehending? You have to repeat stuff over and over again so it sinks in. So I'm sorry I've been doing that to you for years, but I have been doing that for years, if you pay attention to my videos. If you keep watching them. I'm not saying you're like that, but one of the things that's annoying to me about my videos is I keep saying the same thing over and over again. I want it to sink in because I see my analytics. And it doesn't mean you're autistic, but I'm saying, like, you know, I don't want you to be programmed. I don't want you to cross over from being human into being less human. They're degrading mankind. You can see the degradation of mankind, and the TV and the music has helped, and the pornography. But now we have instant access to all this stuff, and that's why everybody says dopamine, cortisol all the time, because it's true. And we have the brain scans. We can see what brain scans of people who play video games are. Part of your brain dies when you play video games. They're bad for you. They're wholly destructive. Playing video games is not good for you. Just do Zoom calls if you want to talk to your friends. You don't have to go into Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever. Sex, people who are addicted to porn, kills their brain. People who take drugs kills their brain, shuts down the weed, all the weed and everything else. And whatever else I'm missing. Being online, people who are addicted to being online, it all kills your brain. And they have brain scans to prove it. And look at the brain scans in the Legacy Media Validation video called Psychopathy on the Left. The video is called Charlie Kirk and Psychopathy on the Left, and he's showing you the brain scans of these extreme liberals and what it's done to them. It's degraded them. And, you know, go ahead, tear your neighborhoods down. This is really stupid. We saw this happening in the UK. They were like, there's riots, and it happened in the US too. And they're like, yeah, destroy your neighborhood, and they're not going to fix things, or they'll come back with new rules. This is the Hegelian dialectics part of it, where they create a problem, and then they have you carry it out. Maybe not you or me, but, you know, other people. And then they say, what are we going to do about this? And they're like, well, we could do this. And that's what they wanted to do in the first place, and it sucks for everybody, but now you got to do it. They make people scream for it. It's like, it's a way of making a devil's deal. What do you want? Okay, well, if you want that, then you got to give up this. You're making a deal. It's unwitting for a lot of people, and you have to go along with it whether you like it or not. But, you know, it's just about continually breaking people down till they give up. You just keep working on them. Forcing behaviors directly. Larry Fink said this, just forcing behaviors. Just keep working on them, just keep wearing somebody down. It's like when the kids keep bugging the parents for something. Please, Mom, come on, Mom and Dad, come on, Mom and Dad, we want to go to Itchy and Scratchy Land. And they just keep berating the parents till the parents like break down. It doesn't always work. Some parents, in the past, they didn't break down. But you know about this strategy. Just keep bugging somebody about it. God even said it works for him. It's the persistent widow in Luke 18. She keeps bringing it before the judge, and then God's like, just be persistent, keep praying to me, and if only just to shut you up, I'll give you the thing you ask. Unless it's a thing that's against God, then he's not going to do it because he knows what's best for you. But that isn't in the Bible. It's not called Hegelian dialectics, but it's like, just be persistent in prayer to God, and then he will mold and shape your prayers, because he does want to edify us. He does want to lift us up. But that's just the Luciferian version of it. Like what we have down here with the Prince of the Air in the world that we live in is the inversion of Luke 18, the tenacious widow, where it's like, just keep bugging them over and over again and break them down till we get what we want. And the richest people in the world are the most disgusting, evilest people in the world, because they don't want a better life for mankind. Not a single one of them. No, that's how they got their wealth and means and resources and all the most earthly things. What's the height of opulence? Eating the flesh of children and drinking their blood. And that's what our system does. The systems we live in globally are trying to make sure that, you know, every child is a Hunger Games sacrifice. Pay tribute, offer up all your kids. And maybe we'll bring some of them up into our ranks, and then you can be like Effie and Stanley Tucci and Katniss and Woody Harrelson and Lenny Kravitz if you survived the Hunger Games. Then you can come up. You can come upstairs and you can enjoy the tech and watch it used on everybody who lives in Hunger Games districts, who are pitted against one another. Do you get it? Hunger Games districts, everyone's pitted against one another for basic resources. There's enough for everybody. We could flourish. Instead, they're taking everything away from everybody and saying there's not enough and pushing us closer together. Now you guys fight for the Soylent. And what's the Soylent? Recycled people. Go watch Soylent Green with Charlton Heston or read the story. And that's, I've rambled on enough, but that's it. This video is longer than I thought it would be. I feel like I should break this into one it's just about the AI slop and IDs, and then the other one that's about why your movie villain heroes suck. So, I don't know. Here you go, you get it all in one. That's what I think. It doesn't mean that they're going to get what they want. I'm going to have to start putting that in my videos. I did, kind of. But I'm going to make a more conscious effort to say, look, just because they plan this stuff for a long time doesn't mean they're going to get their way. And prayers to God for their plans to be ruined and destroyed help. And us continuing to talk to each other about this stuff, like when people went online and said, you guys gloating over Charlie's assassination is disgusting, and you've made me change my mind about what I believe, because I don't believe that. People by God are good. You know what I mean? Like, God put that in our design that we would want to favor good. So they really have to work on us and break us down to get us to be the kind of person that's so broken that you would laugh and gloat at somebody's public execution. That's an insensitive, juvenile, horrible... It's like the heroes we have in movies now. They're not heroes at all. They're her-os, the MCU. Why are they always this, every character is an anti-hero? Think about that word, the anti-hero. Yeah, it's not a hero. Oh, they're just a hero, but they're rough around the edges. There's a difference between grit and somebody being rough around the edges and doing the right thing, and the characters we have in Alien Earth and Star Trek and Ironheart and just the Acolyte. Give me more of these things where it's just the girl hero, and they're not even heroes anymore. They're just selfish, mean-spirited people, and their friends are superfluous. They don't matter. That's divide and conquer. They're programming the youth with this. That's who it's for. It's not, people don't like it because they're old enough to know better that it's disgusting, and they're like, well, maybe I don't know why I hate this, but I hate this. So that's what they're giving us now. Sorry, you hear that background noise? I'm sorry about that noise. So that's what they're giving us now, like a downgrade. Like, no, just we're forcing behaviors. We don't care. We're Disney, and we don't care if you want a hero or whatever the movie studio is. They're all doing the same messages as they're told to by their overlords, and that is handed over heroes. Just take it, it's yours. Men stand down, and destroy the divine patriarchy. They don't say it like that, but they mean it like that. All the books on globalization always have a part where they're like, we got to get people away from God, or we got to take what people believe in as God and distort that and just like coexist. Who would have thought the coexist bumper sticker was such an evil thing? But it is. Well, no, can't we just all get along? No, coexist means that what's true doesn't really matter. Jesus is the King of gods, and there are no other gods. They're demons. They're fallen angels. It's a divine patriarchy. It's Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. So look at the wealthy elite. They'll let you have Jesus for 5 minutes because they're working on turning you away from him. And that's what's being set up for us. They want us to want the universal living stipend, because then everybody will get the same, and when everybody's the same, it'll all be equal. They just want to keep people traumatized so that they're like, just give us what you wanted us to have, and then we're all going to be miserable. And they're hoping that they'll raise, generations of people that just have no idea what they lost because they're replicants. You know what I mean? Like the symbolism of a replicant, a manufactured person made by the system, made by the Wayland Corporation. Look at what they did to the alien. It was some kind of evil, demonic creature, and now it's controlled by a Mary Sue. That was the alien Earth. They probably did the same thing to the Dune shit. They have a Dune show. It's probably all girl boss stuff. So why'd they do all that? It's a trick. It's just to destroy us. I feel like you get it. So anyway, that's it. That's my video. They just want to know who you are and what you're watching so that they can send you an algorithm that utterly destroys you and then beat off. What do you like to beat off to? Keep doing that and stay away from each other. And don't trust anybody. They started it in the 60s with don't trust anybody over 30. That was for the young people. Hey, don't trust anybody over 30 because the old people will tell you what's wrong with you and how to self-correct, because everybody knows what it's like to be young once they get older. So once you get old, you can tell people about, oh, don't do that, I did that, here's why it doesn't work. So don't trust anybody over 30 in the 1960s when Vietnam War was to break down society. It was called the counterculture revolution in the 1960s. What was the counterculture revolution? Well, the culture was a family. So break down the family unit and destroy the culture, which was families. That's simply put, the counterculture revolution was about the destruction, just another notch in destroying family. Turn off, tune in, drop out of society so that it'll break down. Take drugs, be useless, be a dirty, smelly hippie, dress in rags, be a waste case, live in a commune, like communism. Communes didn't work. And listen to the devil's music. Rock and roll, that term was coined by Aleister Crowley, sex, drugs, and rock and roll was coined by Aleister Crowley. And rock and roll, what does that mean? Like Ragnarok or something? It probably means something. Whatever rock and roll means, it's probably evil. But, look at the early days, the Beatles, people going crazy over the Beatles, and the early rock and roll people were dancing around, and it looked crazy. It looked like they were spazzing out. When rock and roll was new music, like in the 50s after World War II, that came from Tavistock. This is over on the other side of the pond. The Tavistock Institute studied shell shock on the guys that survived World War II, and then they took that research and made music. Do you realize that the Beatles is a project of the Tavistock? The first boy band was I'm sure there was a proto-Beatles, but the first big boy band was the Beatles. And they're a product of the Tavistock Institute. And they're all into that devil shit. They put Aleister Crowley on the Sgt. Pepper's album cover. Before they did Sgt. Pepper's, they had an album where they were wearing butcher's jackets, and it's a really disgusting cover that you wouldn't associate with the Beatles, but go look it up. I forget what the album is called, but it has the Beatles in bloody butcher's outfits, and it's got dead babies covered in blood, and that's a Beatles album cover. What the hell's that about? It's disgusting. And then, Rolling Stone, Sympathy for the Devil and all that. I talked about them before with George Lucas at Altamont. And, the Rolling Stones are openly, they worship the devil. They're always singing about that guy. And they have the all-mocking tongue. That's their logo, is the tongue sticking out. Is it not? So, the music's evil. And that's what they used to say about the Beatles. Oh, what? We don't like the Beatles. That rich kid music? Yeah. And, the counterculture revolution was about destroying the middle class. And that's why they tried to make those, 1960s college radicals to help destroy society. Oh, you going to college? You want to get a higher education? Okay, break down society and take drugs. Timothy Leary, he said that everything he did for Lucifer. He looks into the camera when he does interviews and he says everything that he does for Lucifer, out of his own mouth. He looks into the camera and says it, that filthy bastard. So they knew what they were doing when they were doing it, and they thought it was cool. And they tricked a lot of people. And look at where we are today. We're degraded. And the pornography, pornos was something that kind of ugly people were in. So if you wanted to see a porno, it wasn't the prettiest girls. Now look at it. Now it's like the most beautiful women doing the nastiest shit. And if they don't look beautiful, they get surgery to make them look more attractive. Look at people dying to get an ass lift. The BBLs, people are dying to get a butt lift so their ass can be bigger. And what's the dance that's done in George Lucas's THX 1138? It's a tribal dance where a woman's doing basically like a twerking dance. And then there's a guy doing like the same thing. And it's just tribal mating dances in THX 1138. And look at the emphasis we have on all the ass stuff now. Twerking and pointing your ass. It's just all the dancing that women do now is based on tribal dance shit. And we're being degraded, so stop it. Don't have an algorithm.